All right, welcome to another episode of the Ask Swank Show. And on today's episode, we're going to talk about those people that say they're ready to close. You do a proposal, and then they just keep delaying it and delaying it and delaying it. And it can be so frustrating.
I'm Jason Swenk, and I'm answering your questions. And this is Ask Swank.
So let's go ahead and answer the question that Shannon actually has. I need help finding a better way to close a deal. I had a great first call with a prospect who said he was ready to go. I put together the proposal and set up another call to present it. Awesome job on doing that. So many people don't do that, and that's a key tip. If you're actually just sending the proposals over, people can go silent. And if you can get them to agree to actually review the proposal with you live before you send it, you're going to have a lot higher close rate. After I went through the entire proposal, the prospect said he wouldn't be ready to do anything for another 3 weeks. So I scheduled the next call for 3 weeks out. And again, he said he's not ready to pull the trigger. This is the third time in a row this happened. It's frustrating to say the least. My questions are, why do prospects act like they are ready to go when they're not? Why can't they just be upfront about their timing? What can I do or say to get them to start now? There's a couple things that we can actually do. The first thing that we want to do is make sure that you actually qualify them the right way the first time. So many agencies actually don't qualify the right way. And if you remember NBAT, right? Need, budget, authority, and timing. Now, you may be doing what's their need. You may be doing their budget, right? Hopefully you're doing the authority. I think you are. But you may be leaving off the timing, right? So you can say, when are you ready to get started? All right. And you can go through all that to make sure that they're the right fit. The second thing that you actually need to do is make sure you're closing them or pre-closing them before you actually even get to reviewing the proposal with them. So like, for example, you would say, hey, I certainly understand where you're coming from and what you need, and this is what we actually recommend you doing. Do you think this is a good plan? And they're going to say yes and say, cool. So if we can do this, this, and this at this price, you're good with getting started right away. And they'll say yes or no. What you're trying to do is get to figure out what are the objections or what are the put-offs. A lot of people just say, hey, let's just do a proposal, and it's kind of a put-off, and they know they're just trying to kind of probe and figure out free ideas and that kind of stuff. So you want to make sure you get rid of those tire kickers. The easiest way to get rid of a lot of those tire kickers is to sell kind of a discovery meeting, or what I call the foot in the door offer in the very beginning, to make them pay for the strategy. And then you really don't need a proposal. You just explain them the discovery process, right? They pay for it through like a simple order form, kind of like how I have. If you go to jasonswank.com/blueprint, you'll see how it works, right? And you know, it pre-qualifies them there. You're chatting with them. You put them through an application, all that kind of stuff. And then you can get to the detailed proposal after. But the cool thing is they're 20 times more likely to do work with you after they've already paid you one time. So make sure you do that. The other thing that's kind of the next is to really kind of go through what I call kind of the 3 I's, right? And this is going to determine what's the biggest issue that they're actually having, how the impact that it's having on their business, and how important is it to them. So if you're chatting with someone about a marketing campaign that you need to put together, and their biggest issue is they're not getting any leads, you need to figure out, well, you not getting any leads, what's the impact on your business? And then they're going to tell you a value. It's important for them to tell you the value, not you, right? Because then they're going to believe it. Then once they tell you the value or what it's costing their business, or if you can make the change, what it's going to actually help them out, then you say, well, how important is it to them? Because, and a lot of people are like, well, let's say you were solving $1 million problem. Well, a lot of times to some people, like if you were talking to Warren Buffett, $1 million is not much. So you want to figure out how important is it to them. And this is setting you up for the follow-up strategy, because you want to follow up often and you want to follow up with value. So, you know, let's say they say, hey, call me in 3 weeks. I can lead and say, hey, I haven't, you told me to call in 3 weeks. And they say, oh, I need another 3 weeks. Well, you can lead up and say, well, when we talked initially, you said this was really important, and this is actually costing you this amount of money each month of you not making a change. So is this not important to you anymore? And they're going to say yes or no, because look, they may have, and at the end of the day, they may have bigger issues that they need to solve before of what you're doing. And you want to kind of figure that out in the beginning. That's why I always kind of tell people the 3 I's: biggest issue, impact, importance, and then figure that out. And then, that's really what you guys need to do. And just go through those 3 things. So make sure you qualify them in the right way. Make sure you follow up, with value and see how important is it to them. And then make sure you're actually pre-closing them as well and saying, look, hey, I'm more than happy to do a proposal. This is everything we've agreed on. And the proposal really just acts as kind of a formality and a protection between the 2 entities and agreeing of what we said, so there's no hearsay back forth and scope creep and all that kind of stuff that can actually happen. So if you take just half of what we went over, this will significantly help your business going forward. And if you really want to dive deeper into this and actually get my advice and work with you on this, I encourage anybody listening or watching this episode to actually go to my page and go to I Need Help, or click on the contact page, and let's chat and see if I can actually help you and really dive deeper into some of these strategies or whatever you're struggling with in scaling and growing your agency, because I want to be there and help. And I'm tired of hearing you guys put your agency and your business on the sidelines. I want you guys to put it front and center and actually start working on it so you can grow it for the future rather than being reactive. So if you want to do that, make sure you go to the site, and I'll chat with you soon.